Same question to Dr. Kapatos. What is the role of mind and consciousness in quantum mechanics?
Thank you for the question, and thank you very much for the very thorough discussion. You made it sound so down to earth, because in fact, my little understanding of Buddhism is that it is very practical. And in a way, without going too many details, science, particularly modern quantum physics, and Buddhism, and I understand there are different kinds of Buddhism, but let's just stick to Sound Buddhism. The equivalent of Sound Buddhism in Japanese is Zen Buddhism. So the two of them, science and Buddhism, they have a lot more in common than people realize. What is common is, we already talked about complementarity, but now, as Venerable Sunim just explained, what is very important is the karmic connections that actually we don't really know where they come from, these karmic connections. However, we feel them very much in our lives, right? We get stuck on things that we cannot get rid of. And quite often we'll go to a psychiatrist or a priest or a teacher trying to unravel these karmic connections. What the Venerable Sunim just explained is that the role of the mind is very important. And actually it's very, very interesting because in quantum physics, mind plays a primary role. In fact, there are many physicists today who claim that actually quantum physics or quantum mechanics is really a science of the mind. It's hard to believe that, right? Something as concrete as quantum physics is really about the mind. And again, as Venerable Sunim just said, it is the mind that gets stuck in karmic patterns which repeat life after life. So I will leave it at that there's some great common elements between Zen Buddhism and quantum physics in that they both put great emphasis on the role of the mind.
So next question is it's a very interesting question that I would like to also listen. Quantum vacuum and the Buddhist vacuum, the Kung in Buddhism. Let us discuss the similarities and also differences. The next question goes to Dr. Kaparos. What do you think? Can you explain the quantum vacuum?
So the quantum vacuum is actually very, very interesting because it's the most unknown thing in science today. And yet, it is the foundation of everything. So in today's quantum physics, by the way, I'm leaving general relativity out because otherwise the night is going to be twice as long. I'm really mostly concentrating right now on quantum mechanics. General relativity is the other great scientific field founded originally by Albert Einstein. But in terms of this vacuum that Susan was just asking, we believe today that all the laws of physics arise from the vacuum. Everything arises from the vacuum. It's a little bit strange to say that this concrete reality, I mean, this watch, this pen, this glass of water, this microphone, they all arise from the vacuum. And then this is really where the mind sort of stops. This is the Quan, right? The Quan. So the mind stops, and the point, if I understand it correctly, in Zen Buddhism is when the mind stops, then reality manifests. So our task here perhaps is to not try to understand the mind, because the mind cannot be understood, but to take it as granted that perhaps our mind is a limited energy field of consciousness. That the mind is a limited, concentrated view of consciousness, in the same way perhaps as a drop of water and the ocean are the same thing. As we say in physics or chemistry, it's H2O, right? Hydrogen 2, oxygen. That's water. But we think that our mind and the mind that the Venerable Sunim was talking about are different things. And this is actually what makes us stuck in karmic repetition.
Thank you, Baros. The same question to 원장 스님. 공을 그렇다면 어떻게 저희한테 가르침을 주시는지 나눠주십시오.
이제 아까 제가 이제 파동에 대해서 말씀드렸습니다만, 저는 이제 아직까지 그 파동의 물리학적으로도 파동의 원리까지는 아직 모르는 것 같습니다. 그리고 이 금방 이제 진공에서 그 있음이 나온다고 금방 말씀하셨는데, 그게 이제 불교에서는 이제 진공에서 묘유한다 그러거든요. 진짜 진공, 진짜 공한 상태에서 묘한 우리가 보는 이 모습들이 정말 묘하게 나타난다. 그래서 그걸 이제 묘유라 그러거든요. 그러니까 묘유에다가 아까 제가 말씀드린 대로 그게 뭐 좋다 나쁘다 또는 옳다 그르다 이러한 상대적인 그런 의식이 작용이 되면 그건 묘유가 아닙니다. 아니고요. 지금 있는 그대로 내가 보고 듣고 있는 그대로 받아들이고, 거기에서 기분이 좋거나 나쁘거나 또는 뭐 기쁘거나 슬프거나 이러한 감정 상태, 이러한 것들이 반복되지 않는, 금방 이제 윤회에서 그친다고 교수님 말씀드렸지만 그것이 이제 바로 윤회거든요. 그러니까 계속적인 그러한 선악이라든가 고락이 반복되는 그러한 현상을 이제 윤회라 그러는데요. 요 윤회를 끊어야 진공 상태가 되어서 진정한 공에 들어가면, 그때는 내가 무엇을 보더라도 무엇을 듣더라도 어디에 있건 아무 상관이 없습니다. 그래서 그거를 이제 불교에서는 생사 를 이제 해탈한다 그러거든요. 그러니까 우리는 지금 양자역학을 통해서, 제가 이렇게 양자역학에 관심을 조금 두고 뭐 제가 잘 알지는 못합니다만, 양자역학은 바로 그러한 물리적인 입자 현상이 아까 말씀드린 대로 그것을 입자 현상을 보고 우리는 이것이다 저것이다 자꾸 이제 반복하고, 거기에 좋고 나쁜 또는 뭐 또 옳고 그러한 것들을 자꾸 이제 상대적인 그러한 생각을 씌워버리니까 우리는 계속적으로 즐거움과 괴로움을 반복될 수밖에 없는 그러한 이제 상태로 계속 놓이게 되어서, 양자역학에서 말하는 파동이라는 그 속에 보면 제가 조금 우리는 이제 다 원자라 그랬잖아요. 그런데 원자 속에서도 공인 상태가 거의 99.9%일 거예요. 교수님 잘 아시겠지만 원자 핵이 있고 그 주위를 전자라는 에너지가 자꾸 돌고 있거든요. 그러니까 이 전자와 그 원자 핵 사이의 모든 공간은 다 비어 있습니다. 그러니까 이 우주를 놓고 보면 우리가 실질적으로 원자라고 하는 전자라고 하는 것을 모아놓으면 글쎄요, 뭐 0. 몇 프로 정도밖에 안 될 걸요. 예. 지금 다 이제 우리가 보는 이 실체들이 사실은 전부 공이에요. 공인데 그거를 원자 중에서도 원자 핵과 전자로 압축시켜 버리면 눈곱만큼도 아마 안 될 겁니다. 예, 예를 들어 운동장이 있으면 운동장 안에 좁쌀 크기만큼도 안 될 겁니다. 예, 그래서 이러한 것에 우리는 결코 현혹되거나 쏙지 말아야 됩니다. 거기에 좋고 나쁘다, 옳다 그르다 자꾸 이제 의미를 부여하고 그러다 보니까 계속적인 그러한 고통과 즐거움이 반복 작용돼서 반복하는 것 자체가 고통이거든요. 그러니까 거기서 완전히 벗어나기 위해서는 우리가 의식을 분별하는 그러한 의식에서 벗어나서 그야말로 진짜 공한 상태로 우리가 생각이나 감정을 그 공한 상태로 들어가야 된다. 그러기 위해서 우리가 이제 명상, 특히 우리 선명상을 그걸 통해서 내 안에 있는 그러한 의식, 잘못된 의식을 완전히 닫고 없애는 그러한 것이 바로 이제 선명상의 요체라고 할 수가 있습니다.
Thank you, 스님. Minas, then would you like to say something addition to what the 스님 said? He mentioned about the principle of the wave. So you know you can explain as a quantum physicist, right?
Yes. Again, thank you very much. You mentioned the wave and how we get stuck, not realizing that the wave is just actually freedom. There is no beginning and no end. If you think of a wave, not having a 0 point or an infinite point, but being everywhere, and this construct, this idea that perhaps the wave is the real reality, but we're a little bit stuck because of our eyes, of our ears, of our mouth, of our nose, the five senses. We're stuck to just looking at the objects, like I said it before. And because we get stuck on this is what creates, perhaps, if I understood it correctly, the karmic connections. So then we need a psychiatrist, and then we need to go to a doctor, examine our head, and all these things that really afflict modern society in a major way. And then I'm not going to get into the current situation in the world that you all know, perhaps what I'm talking about. But today's world is a little bit stuck in these patterns of repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. So how do we get unstuck? Well, with knowledge. Sunim here mentioned the knowledge of Buddhism. And quantum knowledge is not really that different. It sounds like it is, but it's not that different because they're both based on emptiness. They're both based on the vacuum. And the vacuum, as John Archibald Wheeler, who was a protege of Albert Einstein, a great physicist, Wheeler said that if you think you understand it, you really don't. You get stuck. And he was talking about being stuck in the idea of concrete reality. And he used I won't go into much detail, but he used a very simple example. Let's say that you're observing a very distant quasar. Quasars are quasi-stellar objects, very far away, like billions of light years away. And the last nanosecond, after this light has traveled billions of light years, billions of years, meaning the source is billions of light years away. If you make a decision at the very last nanosecond, a billionth of a second, to either observe this way, the wave particle, the wave aspect, or the particle aspect, like a miracle, the whole thing collapses in what you chose, your choice. Mind-boggling, because then the very, very distant parts of the universe are connected with us right now. And this is really, I think, what Buddhism is teaching as well, that this, what you think is there is not there.